Welcome. We are we have another great author for Disability Book Week. Amazing superstar authors. This is Melissa McPherson. Let me set the stage before we get going. Hello. She's waving. I am your host, Kelly M. Likes. I am wearing my favorite pumpkin colored sweater and a black and white dress. And in the back are all my favorite books. And I have my little fire engine because I love him. Melissa is there with us. She is wearing a gray sweatshirt and she's got beautiful horn rim glasses. And I can see a snowman in the background, which is awesome. So I just want to say, welcome, Melissa. Welcome to tell us a little bit about your book. We're so excited to have you here today.
Hi, I'm so happy to be here. My book is called The Lesser Remained. It is an adult fiction book, and the premise is a young man surviving the zombie apocalypse. He has cerebral palsy, and he's trying to get to the summer camp he used to go to as a child in order to survive.
Oh, that sounds awesome. Well, tell us a little bit about yourself as an author.
Well, I am 43, I think. I lose track. I'm getting older. Um, and I am a freelance writer. I write locally for my newspaper, and I started writing this book 4 years ago now, I think, when my kids were young, in order to survive the pandemic with my sanity intact. And it wasn't the first book I ever wrote, but it was the first book that I ever published. So yeah.
Well, tell us a little bit about that publishing, that writing process. What exactly was your process? How'd you get from thought, idea, zombie apocalypse to holding the book in your hand?
I actually use the same process from something called NaNoWriMo. LES is familiar with that. It's National Novel Writing Month, and they have kind of a template that you use in which you write, I think it's 1,667 words a day
Oh, God.
in order to complete a novel in a month. I did not write this book in November. I wrote it in April. But I used that same process in order to, like, keep myself motivated and give myself, some structure because at the time I was home with a 2 and 4-year-old, and so I needed to have, like, a set amount of time in a day that I worked on it because I had so many other things going on. So I was able to get those words in and then just be done for the day, and I would write while they were napping or, catching up on their favorite TV show or something like that, where they were allowing me a few minutes. So it wasn't I never sat down and wrote all of those words in one sitting, but it would be throughout the day, and I would try to reach that goal. And so that's how I wrote the first draft, at least, and then after that, it was sort of a process of actually, I put it down for like a year
Oh, wow.
after I finished that first draft. I didn't even look at it again, but it kept like and I've done that before. I've written books and then just kind of left them on my computer, but it kept coming back to me. I was like, I think people are really gonna like this one. So I sent it to my best friend, and he's like, "You have to publish this." And that's when I started looking into self-publishing because I'm one of those people that, like, if it's gonna take a long time, I can get kind of unmotivated. And I wasn't sure I wanted to put the value in my novel in the hands of somebody who was just trying to make a profit. I'm not sure I would, with the niche I wrote in, it was going to be profitable enough for somebody to say yes to. So I decided to self-publish, and it's worked out for me.
Awesome. Well, what advice would you have to somebody else who may be in your position, who maybe have a book that's been a manuscript that's been sitting on a shelf for several years? What sort of advice do you have for someone who's writing a book?
I guess my advice is to just do it. Like I was, I'm older now and I've been wanting to write a book since I was like 9 or something like that. And I always let like the fear of rejection kind of get in my way. And I didn't realize that self-publishing is as popular as it is now. Like lots of people are doing it. And yeah, you're probably not going to get famous, but there are several writers out there who started as self-published writers and are now like mainstream writers, so it's not impossible. But it's also, I think just taking the idea that you have to be published by a big corporation in order for your book to be real. Like, take that idea out of your head and just do it however you want to and however it feels right to you, because as soon as you wrote it, it's a book and it other people's opinions about whether it's a real book or not don't matter.
That's beautiful. I appreciate all of that. Thank you. Well, now's my favorite part of the interview. Would you like to share a part of your book with us?
Sure, I can do that. So this is the part I read at most book readings. It's just kind of gives you an idea of what's going on and hopefully will make people want to read more.
Awesome.
The explosion happened while we were all asleep, and was so loud it rattled the windows and shook the floor. I came fully awake in an instant. The door to my bedroom flew open, and Mom came in and dove onto my bed, shielding me with her body, even though by then the explosion was just a rolling echo down the street and a faint orange glow coming into the windows. Mom stood up and rushed to the window. "Oh my God," she said. "Eric, call 911. The whole street is going to go up." I grappled with the phone on my nightstand, my hands still shaking and useless from the scare. I had turned it off to save the battery, and I couldn't get my fingers to work to turn it on. I fumbled it, and it fell onto the floor with a clatter. By the time I bent over and grabbed it, I heard my parents burst out the front door. I dialed 911 and was greeted by 3 flat beeps and dead air. I hung up and tried again with the same results. "Fuck," I muttered, and I crawled over to my window looking out. The fire was several houses down the street, and I couldn't see it unless I wanted to push out the screen and lean out. Even in my panicked state, that didn't strike me as a good idea. My parents weren't the only ones standing on the lawn looking around like they would see a fire truck any second. I struggled to my feet and lifted the window. "The call won't go through," I yelled. Mom turned to me. "What?" she said. "No signal," I said. "Should we get out of here?" Mom looked at Dad, as if to ask him, and the sound of a child's scream pierced the air. I looked past my parents, pushing my forehead into the screen to see as far down the street as possible. The streetlights were out, but the glow from the fire was bright enough that I could see the shadow shape of a young child. A girl, I thought, but whom be sure. Were she been running toward the fire, I would have been able to see her face, the way I saw my parents now, shadowy but recognizable in the flickering light. The fire was enormous. Several of the neighbors started heading for their front doors. These days, most people run from the sound of screaming, but I knew my mother. She would not walk away from a child who needed her. "You guys, come back inside," I shouted. "Now." But Mom was shaking her head. She took a few steps forward toward the girl before my dad caught her arm. He seemed to remember finally that the world wasn't the same place it had been even a month ago. "Hannah, Eric is right. We need to go back inside," he said. Mom whirled around to look at him, and I knew she was ready for a fight. She had a steely determination in her eyes that I hadn't seen in a while, but I knew well. I thought the pandemic, and finally, the guy that wasn't dead, might have dampened it, even destroyed it. But there it was, strong as ever, and my heart sank. It was the same look she'd given to doctors, teachers, and anyone who told her that I would never do something. It didn't matter what it was, tying my shoes, walking, or even driving a car. If you uttered the word can't or never in the same sentence as my name, you were on her shit list, and it was damned hard to find your way off of it again. Not only that, but Mom would make it her mission to make sure I did the thing, whether I wanted to or not, and whether or not it made sense. I was the only kid in kindergarten who not only had shoes with laces, but also knew how to tie them. Mom was not coming back into the house, not without that little girl, and Dad did not let go of Mom's arm. He reached into his pocket of his robe with his free hand and pulled out a gun. I would have laughed at how ridiculous it was if I hadn't been so terrified. "What are you going to do with that?" Mom demanded. "She can't be more than 5. "She might be." But Mom cut him off. "The dead don't scream."
Oh my gosh, I had chill bumps. Okay, that was brilliant, absolutely brilliant. I love it so much. Oh, I just love it. Oh, I love the part where anybody who ever said that he wouldn't be able to do something. Oh, just brilliant work, brilliant work.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing with me that passage. I hope that everybody just loves it. Now it's available ebook, paperback, hardcover.
Ebook and paperback through Amazon
Okay,
or at my website, which is melissamcpherson.com.
awesome. And I want to thank you for being here because I think it was awesome. But I want to closing words. Anything that you'd like to share before we sign off?
No, I don't think so. Just I hope everyone checks out Disability Book Week. It is a great thing, and I'm so glad it exists.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
Thank you.